Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Empowered Podcast. And if you're watching from YouTube, oh my God, this is my first video, and to say I'm nervous is an understatement. This is true me style. Pause the podcast for however many months it's been and decide that you want to put all of this on YouTube, and you are really rusty and it's going to be messy, but you're doing it anyway. This is what I tell my clients. Take messy action and just do the thing, and that's the only way to get better. So I have been resisting this for months and I just can't ignore it anymore. I haven't wanted to share this because truthfully it feels a little bit scary. But I am semi-burning my business down to rebuild it in a way that actually aligns with my values, my beliefs, and how I want to live my life. So much has changed in the last 3 years. It's nearly my 3-year business anniversary, actually. And in that time, I have done so many things and worked with so many amazing people, predominantly teachers. And I am ready to expand and start working with people who I feel very aligned to. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Em. I have a daughter and I've recently had a son. My partner and I have also started a company called Hooked Up, which is an app that we're developing for people who hunt, fish and camp. And so that is launching in about 5 weeks. And so I got a bit going on. And in the last 3 years, I have run memberships and group coaching courses. In that time, I became a coach. I've run workshops. I've done school consulting. I've done so many things. And truthfully, my business looked completely different when I had 1 child versus now I have 2 and another company. And so I've just been feeling like things have just not been working for myself or my family, and I'm not being the mum that I want to be. I'm not speaking about things that light me up. I haven't been working in the space that I really want to work in. And so everything has just felt so out of alignment. And truthfully, I have sat in so much discomfort and so much overwhelm. And it's because I have been scared of doing the thing and making the changes, because change is really scary. Plus, I've been postpartum, so if you know, you know, that's a bit of a shit show. I feel like I'm finally out of fight and flight and I am much more regulated, which is such a normal state for postpartum. We don't talk about that enough, which is something I'd love to speak about. And see, this is the thing. I've been working in education and supporting teachers and leaders to become emotionally intelligent and understand their nervous system so that they can feel more grounded in the classroom and support children from a child development lens, understanding their brain and body by actually working with their own brain and body. And although I love talking about that and I love supporting people with that, and it's still something I'm going to be doing, the capacity in which I've been doing it just does not align with my beliefs anymore. I don't feel aligned with the way that we currently educate children in the mainstream education system. And I have felt so nervous and scared, I think, to say this, because I have so much admiration and compassion and love for the people working in the current system. And so many of you that come to work with me or, purchase my courses, you are the educators that I have loved working with, because you're willing to look at yourself and do the work so that you can change the system from the inside out. But the biggest feedback that I get from you guys is that you take all of this amazing wisdom back into your school and you feel so alone and like you are swimming in an opposite direction, which you are, because this system does not support you well to operate this way. You want to become more emotionally intelligent. You want to hold space for your students' behavior. You understand their behavior. You are focusing on their development and their regulation, their emotions. You're not suppressing them or telling them that they're good girls or good boys. And honestly, you are doing God's work, but you are set up to fail in a system that is not supporting you. And so I always end my conversations with, I really hear you on that. And it's important that you go and find a school that works with you, that aligns with your values, because I'm seeing so many educators burnt out, and it's not because they're doing too much, it's because they are misaligned in the current system. They don't want to teach children in the capacity they have. They want to be emotionally intelligent. They want to work with their children's nervous systems. They want to support these neurodivergent learners and learners that have trauma in a holistic way, and yet the school they're in doesn't want to make any changes. Or the system, the way that it's designed and set up, is just not allowing you to support children in the way that you want. And so this has felt so hard for me. And truthfully, I have 1 day a week where I'm working at the moment. And I have had so many offerings in the past and been able to serve so many people. But really, for me and my family right now, and in the next probably 6 to 12 months at least, my energy has to be focused on myself and my family first. And our other company, Hooked Up, is something that we've invested a lot of money and time into, and that we're very, very, very excited about. And I have a lot of the knowledge and experience in the online space, and so I'm needed in our company there. And so for now, and this hurts my soul as a fiery Aries and Manny-Gen who likes to have her fingers in all the pies and do all the things, but I just can't be stretched thin across all the things that I want to do for now. And I know that when I come back to having the space, and look, who knows when that is going to happen. That's the point, is I'm not putting a timeline on it, potentially 6 to 12 months. I'm just feeling into what feels like a whole body yes for me and my family right now, and this is what feels good to me. And I have been wanting to serve mums and work with people who are more aligned with me and the impact that I want to have for probably 12 months. But I just haven't allowed myself to go there. And to be completely honest, Manny-Gens often change quickly and move really quickly and want to do all the things, and I absolutely resonate with that. There has been so many instances where I've just wanted to stop everything and then start again. And so now's the time to do that. So if you're a fellow manifesting generator, you probably understand how this feels for me. And I also call myself an emotional intelligence and nervous system coach, which is where my wheelhouse is, but I do so much more than that with the clients that I work with. And I have felt like I've been put in this box of you just work with education people. And so moving forward, I am going to be working with women and mums who are ready to live a life that is values driven and a life that actually factors in their family and their kids. My kids and my family and us as a family unit is the first priority. And I think you can look at people on Instagram, and especially if you're in business, and think, oh my God, they've got that or they're doing that. But you truly don't know what someone's life looks like behind the screen. You don't know if people are, I see this all the time, people are making like $100,000 a month, and it's like, yeah, sweet. How much time are they spending with their kids, and do they want that? And like, if they want that, that's great. But what I want is I want to work 1 day in my business, 1 day in the company, and the rest of the time I'm a mum and I'm looking after myself. And I'm basking in these younger years with my kids, because everybody says that you blink and they're gone. And it's so true. And I find motherhood, honestly, parenting is so fucking hard. My work is so easy. I could work every day of the week and absolutely love it, and work like 8 to 10 hour days every day and love it. But I don't want to do that because I love my kids. I love spending time with my kids. But parenting is harder than what I actually do for a job. So if you're a full-time stay-at-home mum, my hat goes off to you, because that feels hard for me. But this is where the lesson is. And I've been working with my coach on this recently. Where you find things hard and where it feels really uncomfortable, where the discomfort is, or where you're trying to be busy and skip over things, that's where the work is to be done. So if you're being activated by something or triggered by something, or there's something that just feels a little bit off and you are skipping over it, that's the thread you need to pull on. Because I know that I have tried to keep myself busy and do things out of alignment rather than leaning into doing the work around what I actually want and the changes I have to make to get there. So that means stripping back so much of my work and not working as much, which is going to feel really hard for me, honestly. I love my work, but I also love my children, myself and my family more. And so that, the uncomfortable parts around that's where I'm leaning in to do the work. It feels really liberating actually to say all of this, because I guess I've been sitting here because it's just really uncomfortable and I've made it mean so many things that it isn't. I've created so many stories in my head about if you stop doing what you're doing, then, someone might think this about you and blah, 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 blah. Who actually gives a shit? No one cares. No one cares about what I'm doing unless you're listening to this. But we always think that everyone really cares. We all just care about ourselves and what we're doing. So if you want to make changes in your life or shift in a new direction, if you're a teacher listening to this and you're like, I absolutely resonate with that, I love teaching, but I do not like the system, then start to explore that and think about whether it's actually taking a toll on your well-being. Because if we stay doing things that we don't really want to do, it is so toxic for our body and it leads to burnout. And I don't want to get to 80 and think, oh my God, I spent far too long doing things that I thought I should, because I have guilt around leaving teachers that are in the system at the moment when I know full well that they need help. That feels really sticky for me because I'm a super empathetic and compassionate person and I love supporting people. It has felt really hard to go, no, but this is not bringing me as much joy as it used to. So I need to honor that and do what I want. That feels hard, but that is me embodying the work that I teach others. Putting your needs up the list because you matter. And in my family, I do matter. I'm the glue that holds everything together. If I'm exhausted or grumpy or constantly stressed, if I'm not loving my life, it impacts the entire family, my children and my partner. And so I have to do what feels good for me. So I'm going to be building the modern day mum because this is something I've wanted to build for so long. And so if you're an educator listening to this, you are a modern day mum. So don't think that what I'm about to offer isn't going to relate to you, because if you want to work on your EQ and your nervous system, it's still going to apply to you. But it means I'm stripping away all of my school workshops, lead with EQ. I'm not running another round of that at this stage. I'm literally putting a pause on everything except for one-on-one coaching, which I have a few clients at the moment and a couple of spaces left open for one-on-one coaching. And at the moment, they are modern day mums. So they are mums who have businesses, maybe part-time or full-time. They are mothers. They are wearing all the hats, juggling all the things, and they want to live a life that's in alignment with their values and their family values. And so that's what I'm supporting them with. And I am absolutely loving it. I can't even tell you how excited I am each week to speak to them and work with them. And so that's now what I'm doing. I'm not following the shoulds or the must-haves or you need to do this, because it's not serving me. I don't want to be living a life that actually doesn't bring me a lot of joy, because then that impacts my family. And so I matter in my family and my needs matter. And so this is why I'm pivoting to make sure that we're all getting our needs met and we are designing the life that we want to live. And so this is my next chapter. And, I don't even know what it's called, but you know how the years like in numerology add up and like this is the 9th year. So then the cycle starts again. This year is literally me shedding all of the identities and leaving all of those parts of me behind that I no longer want to take into the future with me. And I feel like this is me closing a door on traditional education and me really living outside of the box and doing things that I want and not having to be so fucking serious. Something that teachers actually have enjoyed in my PDs is me dropping the F-bomb and just being a real, honest, authentic human, because that's what I bring to the people that I'm serving. And I often feel quite out of alignment when I'm doing really serious education talks. And I know that I am clever and that I can learn anything and teach it in a really simple and easy way to understand. I think that's my teaching background. But I don't yearn to join education conferences and get on the stage and talk about super serious stuff. That's not what truly lights me up. I want to bring all of this amazing science and education into the worlds of the women that I'm supporting, but I don't want to have to be that person that feels like they have to fit in a box to belong. That doesn't feel good to me. So that's why I'm changing. That's why I am redesigning everything. So yes, I'm still teaching my wheelhouse and what I love, which is emotional intelligence and nervous system work. And I'm coupling that with motherhood and parenting. So moving all of this amazing knowledge and experience I have with children into supporting parents with conscious parenting, because this lights me up so much. And the impact that parents have is honestly just like we're changing the lineage, we're changing generations. It's honestly amazing. And this is where I want to do the work. And these mothers who are open to change and choosing presence and joy and connection. I want to support women who want all of these things, who want to work on their belief systems, who are willing to be so radically honest with themselves and accept all parts of themselves and do this inner work. This is what I love. And so it feels a little bit scary saying all of this and saying this on YouTube. But you know what? I don't care. This is the first video. I can't wait to look back and be like, Emma, that was your first YouTube video. Oh my God. That's embarrassing, because I know that when you do that, it means that you are growing and that you can be really proud of just doing the scary thing. Because how many of you out there are sitting there going, oh, I'd love to be doing that, but it just feels too scary. That's what I want to help mothers with. So many of you have amazing gifts and wisdom and knowledge to share, but so much of your programming and your imprints and the trauma that you've experienced in your life is holding you back. And that is why we do the nervous system work and why we understand the different parts to us. And so if you want to build a business, or you want to completely shake up your life and change your identity and change your belief systems and live a life that looks completely different to what you're doing now, then hit me up, because you are the people that I want to work with. Because when you do that, you model that to your children, and then they step into that as well, and they see you living it. So gone are the days where our needs don't matter and we put ourselves down at the bottom of the list. The way that you teach your children best is by modeling it and embodying it. And that's what I want to help mothers with. So that's what's happening. I hope that all made sense. I feel like I just verbal diarrheaed all of that into the microphone. But if you are a mother, so I'm sure many of you are educators listening to this. If you're a business owner, or if you're in leadership and you want to work on your EQ and your nervous system, your beliefs, your imprints, all of that wonderful, juicy stuff, then the Modern Day Mum is going to be for you. And I don't know when that's coming. Like I said, I'm not putting a timeline on that. I've got some amazing guests lined up for the podcast that I'm recording with at the moment. But the only way to work with me currently is one-on-one coaching. And I have 2 spaces left for the rest of the year. So if you want one of those spaces, please hit me up. Thank you for listening and watching my first episode back. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I can't wait to connect with you all, and I'll talk to you soon.